Alright, hello everybody out there. This is a beta test of Beta 3. Actually, this is a modded version. What I've been doing here is sort of playing around with weapon and armor values to make things feel a little more balanced. The initial release of Beta 3, the armor values were much too high, which meant that anyone that got to chainmail level armor would be able to wipe everybody else off before anyone had a chance to also get the technology. Also, all of the found weapons and armor had such high attack and defense levels that you really only need to get 2 or 3 of them, and you could just pretty much walk through the entire game without worrying about damage too much. So first, let's look at these city militia. I've redesigned things a bit so that the AI, it often, like I think for city defenders, it chooses the weapon that it believes has the highest attack. So before it was choosing the wrong choices because the computer wasn't, it was only looking at mundane damage for its attack, not the total attack. So that's one thing that's changed. See here it says that it recognizes it as 16 attack, which is 14 cutting and 2 fire. The vanilla version I think is like 10 cutting and 6 fire, but since you have to research weaponry before you research, let's see, I think it's basically the technology that requires that Burning Axe requires also requires you to get weaponry. So I assume that if they've made axes before, they know how to make axes that do 14 damage. So any magical weapon should be that weapon that is then enchanted with a special ability, in this case, fire. There might be some magical crafting, which I've tried to represent. This axe only weighs 6. Every other mundane axe is gonna weigh 10. So there is a little bit of an advantage. If you look through all of the magical weapons, they have varying amounts of either having less weight or less initiative penalties than the mundane versions. I tried to avoid using a lot of fire attack or cold attack or lightning attack because up until like the end of the mid game, almost no units are going to have any resistance to any of those values. So it's going to just be doing straight damage to units, and since there's no defense, the values need to be fairly low. Alright, so that's just a basic city defender. On the other side, you have my units. I've been playing as Paradin. I've only researched up until leather and then blacksmithing in the warfare tree. I've been focusing on magic mostly. So you can see, this is my unit. He's wearing Aegis robes. Or actually, he's wearing monk's robes because he was an earlier unit. The units on the right are wearing a Aegis robe. And so what I've done differently here is I've actually made the... I mean, these are cloth robes that have been enchanted to have armor type abilities. So to me it makes more sense that they have higher values than just standard leather, and then no weight detriment. So the advantage of choosing magic over mundane equipment would be that well, it's going to cost more, the wages will be higher, it'll take longer to train, and your overall attack values will generally be lower than if you had chosen warfare. But your stuff will weigh less, so you don't have as many initiative penalties. So basically, magical armies will be faster, have better defenses, but won't be as offensive. Whereas a purely warfare-based army will probably have higher attack values, but possibly less initiative. Either that, or they'll be spending a lot more resources to match the same level of magic. Alright, so let's see. Haste this guy. I should have hasted this one. Oh well. Okay, this guy back here, as you can see, he's got the great sword. I'm pretty sure that's just a mundane great sword. Yeah, Greatsword does 22 attack, which is rather high, plus it has a counterattack, but you can't carry a shield with it, so it's not always the best weapon on the battlefield. Once the enemy starts researching archers, you're really going to want to avoid two-handed weapons for the most part. He also can haste, so he'll haste this one. One of the best things about Paradin is every hero you get can have all four main elements. So I think, yeah, once you research sorcery, you can buy in the shop all of the elemental books, which your heroes can then read and have apprentice level in every magical area, which means that you can essentially have some very, very powerful mages throughout the game. Alright, so the enemy is using one of my unit designs, the Dread Monk, right there. This is a great example of a magical unit for the Empire. He's using Monk Staff, which is 8 attack, blunt, does 2 dodge per level, and has 1 counterattack. The -1 crit, as far as I understand it, I mean they might have changed it in the latest version, that's a useless stat, it doesn't do anything. So yes, Monk Staff does blunt damage. Blunt damage is the most effective damage for mundane weapons because there's no armor that specifically counters blunt. It's sort of the best thing besides armor penetration when attacking someone in chainmail or plate. Although all weapons are equally effective against plate and leather in this version. So then he's also got Ring of Embers, which is +1 fire attack, which is a pretty big fire or damage bonus, and it is 25 fire resistance combined with his Quindar Blood. He's got 50 fire resistance. I don't believe there's a stat. Oh yes, here we go. Fire resistance 50, which is pretty handy that they added that to the unit details. It's nice to be able to see. He's also got 25 cold resistance from his Ring of the Glacier, and +3 hit points from Ring of Life. Basically, once you start getting some of the magical techs, you can start spending Refined Crystal in exchange for much better attack and pretty much the only defense against magical damage. Which means that this unit would be much better fighting mages or other magical units compared to mundane units, which will pretty much always be at a disadvantage if they don't have rings. And then he's wearing Monk's Robe, which is 5 defense plus 2 initiative. So his overall initiative is 24, because he's also got the fast trait. And then he's got Tough, which is 1 hit point per level, and Iron Skin, which makes his defense rather low, but his attack is extremely high. Plus, as you'll see in this video, his counterattack ability is kind of his bread and butter. Alright. So, I'll attack once. And as you can see, they got a counterattack on my hit. So in that round they did a total of 8 damage and I only did 6, even though my unit is a higher tier unit. They have a better tactical advantage in this situation. If I had brought some spear units, I would focus my spear units on the Dread Monks and probably hit the city militia with my macemen. Right, I probably need to move up. And I'll cast haste on myself, which I think, yeah, makes the unit automatically go once more. It's pretty handy, but I'm almost certain it's a bug. Okay, and then once you have more than 3 units on your team, you're going to start casting Battle Cry with your life mages, because it'll instantly make all of their units go once right away. Pretty much does, it's like a mass haste spell. Okay, so I'm going to avoid that unit, because attacking it's going to do more damage to me, and start hitting these city militia. Because these city militia have a very high attack. In fact, they have better attack than I do. Alright. So these are axemen. Axes are probably the best weapon out of weaponry, as long as your enemy only has up to leather armor. Once you get chain armor, all of the cutting weapons will no longer be as useful, and you'll have to start using blunt or pierce, which those weapons do less overall damage, but they're better at countering higher tier units. Oh good, I didn't think he was going to make it to the front. Okay, there was a lucky hit. All my units were able to hit, and they did almost maximum damage. And since he was using Monk's Robe, he didn't have any special defense, whereas I think that if they would have chosen Chainmail, I never would have been able to touch them. Alright, so now I get to have all my units move once more because Battlecry was just cast. I'm going to move up here and hit these Ash Mages. I don't have a lot of elemental defense, so it's really important for me to take out their magical archers. I don't know what spell to cast. Can't use Battlecry. Alright, I'm going to cast Guardian Wind. I have a few air shards. Although it would be nice if the air shards were shown up here. Okay, and then... See, she's only carrying a dagger. But against City Militia, a dagger does 8 damage. It's just as good, pretty much, as anything else. Especially since a dagger gets 2 counterattacks. In my version. Ooh, that was a big hit. Okay, so this is a scout. I can't totally ignore the scout. He doesn't seem very dangerous, though. I'll try to move up past him. Oh, there you go. See, now units that don't have any armor at all are at an extreme disadvantage in this match. And now that I've killed their Dread Monks, I think that was their last armored unit. So these maces are pretty much just going to smash right through anything that isn't armored at all. I think what I need to do is go into the core units and add equip with best armor to all their archer units and their city militia. Although their city militia, their melee city militia should already have that. Not sure why it didn't equip. Of course, I guess it's possible that Magnar simply hasn't researched it yet. They've been one of the weaker factions. Everyone's been sort of picking on them because everyone else is a kingdom. Alright, so as you can see, the attack values right now, whoa, that was a surprising fireball, seem like they're extremely high, but this is only against unarmored units. If you were attacking an armored unit and someone that was fully clad in leather, the average attack values would be between 2 and 4 per soldier in the unit, which, you know, is damaging, but one of the other things that I've changed to help balance armor and weapons is a higher HP level for all units in the game, so that basically you can take more hits, and there's a few more turns before your units are totally crippled. Crushing Blow would be really good for this guy. I'm going to take the initiative bonus, though. There's never anything better than initiative. Okay. Oh, I was kind of hoping they had the diplomacy thing set up where when you kick them out of your territory, they get bounced back to the nearest city. I think that the dev said they wanted to implement that, but maybe they just haven't yet. Not sure. Alright, so there's a basic test. If you care to see my empire a bit, it's rather large and sprawling. But now that I've tested this, I have to go back in the XML and read you a few things, so this is the last time I'm going to play this match. Thanks for